All right, we've been doing a lot of factoring, correct? Just factoring for its own sake really doesn't do much, all right? You factor so you can do other stuff. And today is one of those days where we're going to actually put that factoring into good use, all right? When you think of algebra, what do you think of when you think of algebra? Solving what? Solving for x. Solving for x, okay? When you think of algebra, the most general thing, would you agree? When you think of algebra, it's solving for x. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that today. We're going to solve for x. But you have to know how to factor stuff in order to solve for x a lot of times. Not all the time, but a lot of times you have to. That's why we went through all that factoring stuff, so we can actually find what x is equal to. All right? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So these are called polynomial what? Equations. What does an equation have? It's got an equal sign, okay? So we want to say something is equal to something else, all right? And most of the time, we're going to use x. We don't always use x, but you get the idea. We use x a lot. So let me go right to an example. Not even going to teach anything. Well, yeah, let me teach you one thing. If I had, let's do this. You've seen this before. You've done this in, I don't know if you did this in Algebra 1 or not. Anyway, let's just show you. If I had AB equals 0, tell me something about the A and the B or both of them. That's right. Either one of them could be 0, or both of them could be 0, okay? So if you had a situation like this, if you have two things or 3 or 4 or 5, doesn't matter. If you have things that are multiplied together and your answer is 0, then one of these has to be a 0, or both of them could be 0. Agreed? So if A was equal to 0, then it doesn't matter what the B was. This whole thing is going to be 0. We got that? All right. So keep that in mind for what we're going to do right now. So most of what we're doing right now is kind of a rehash of what we've done before, because we're going to factor. All right. So that's what we want to do. We want to factor, but then we are going to solve. Okay. It's an equation. It's actually equal to something, and almost all of these, not all of them, but you're going to eventually put them into an equation where you set something equal to 0. That happens a lot in math, where stuff is equal to 0. All right, that's what we're going to do. So example 1. So we're going to solve. All these say to solve. And here it is, 3x cubed. Like I said, most of the work that we're going to do in here, most of the stuff that we're going to do is stuff that we've already done. So it's really not that much of a stretch to do this lesson if you know how to do the other lessons that we've been doing. The only thing different at the end, instead of just saying factor it, find the factors, it's going to say solve. Okay, we're going to solve for x. So let's take a look at this. All right, it's got a cubed. It's got an x squared and an x. There might be a couple ways to do this, but there's one, the way it's set up with the numbers, the particular numbers that are on here right now, there's an easy way to factor this. Do you see it? Solve by, where you go like that, parentheses, is that what you're showing me? You're showing me parentheses? Okay. Yes, by what? Grouping, there you go. All right. Zanaya had it, she just didn't know the word. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Everybody see this? How do you know you do that? Well, because look, what's in common with both of these? There's a 3, right? And if you factor out a 3, what are you going to get? You're going to get an x, okay? You're going to have a 3 and an x. What do we have here? You can factor out x squared. You're going to have a 3 and an x, okay? So you could probably get them to be the same thing, couldn't you? All right, that's kind of what you're looking for. There's nothing in common with all 4 of those, all right? So what do you do then? Well, I go to see if it will group, and these will group together pretty nice. So again, what's in common with both of these? X squared. What's left over if I factor out an x squared? 3x. I can do this quickly because we've already taught this stuff. 3x minus 1. There's your 3x and your 1, okay? Put a plus right here. What can you factor out of this? A 9. Well, I don't have to have a negative because this is already positive right there. So if this was a negative, yeah, I would factor out a negative 9, but it's a positive 9. So what's left? 27x divided by 9 is 3x. And then factor out a 9 from this, I get a 1. Look at that. I got a 3x minus 1 and a 3x minus 1. Now, that doesn't always happen, but it does happen on this particular one, and that's what you should always look for. Now, you got something in common with both of these. right? So we're going to factor again. Factor out a common factor. So factor out a 3x minus 1. What's left over if I factor out a 3x minus 1? X squared plus 9. Okay? And that equals what? Now this is not a difference of two squares. It's not a difference. It's a plus. Right? So I can't factor this. Okay? So before, they would just say, what are the factors? Boom, right there. Those are the factors. Okay? And I think I even mentioned this. Remember there's three things here and you're supposed to get three answers? Okay, we will get three answers. It doesn't look like it right now because I just got two things. But look at this. When I set this equal to 0, I'm going to get how many answers for this? 2 for this, 1 for this. There's your three answers altogether. Does that make sense? All right, so now let's go back to this AB equals 0 thing. So this would be my A, this would be my B, and they're multiplied together and it equals 0. So what can I do with both of these parentheses? Set them equal to 0, right? So I'm going to take that, set it equal to 0, and I'm going to take this one and set it equal to 0. That's really the big thing of today's lesson right there, what I just did. Okay, all this stuff was old. This is really the only new thing that we haven't really talked about. But that's pretty simple though, isn't it? Okay, it's simple, but it's important. And then now what do? Just solve for x. Do this in our head, right? Add a 1, then what? Divide by 3, so what's x? 1 over 3. What do we do here though? I got to get x by itself. I can't factor it. Well, subtract the 9 from both sides. Okay, I'll show all the steps. So what do you get? X squared equals what? Negative 9. Get x by itself. Square root, square root. What do I always put in front of a square root when I solve for x? Plus or minus. So those two cancel out. So I've got x equals plus or minus. Now you got a negative inside the square root. What does that become? An I. Then the square root of 9 is 3. 3 what? 3i. Everybody with me?
Why isn't it just... Oh, because that's never mind.
Because it has to be negative? Yeah. Okay. There's my three answers. There's one answer. This is actually two answers, isn't it? All right, you got a positive 3i and a negative 3i. There's your three answers right there. And that's how you solve it. And that will tell you a lot of stuff. Remember we talked about this before? Okay. What does this tell us? This tells us our x-intercepts. Problem is, this doesn't have an x-intercept. If I was to graph this thing, it doesn't cross at plus or minus like 3 or anything like that. All right, so it's only going to hit the x-axis at one place. I'm curious to see what it looks like, aren't you? So let's do that. Let's let's get Desmos up first, and then we'll go to it. So let me find it. There's Desmos.
What search engine do you use? Why does it always pull that up?
Oh, it's not a search engine. It's just my front page. It's I used to use Delaware Online because I like to see what was happening in Delaware, but they charge for that, and so you can see the headlines, but you can't, every time you click on an article, you can't read it because I didn't pay for it. I used to pay for it, then I got tired of it and I quit paying. So anyways, WDEL is the thing that pops up there. All right, what am I doing? Let's see. Oops, let's go to this. All right, there we go. There's Desmos. All right. I wasn't planning on doing this, but that's okay. Let's do it anyway. So 3. Well, let's just graph it, okay? So I'm going to put y equals. So y equals 3. Oh, I need this thing. Probably takes too long. What time? 14? Ugh, okay. That's all right. I gave 2 days for this anyway, so I can take a little time. So 3x, what is it, cubed? All right, 3x cubed minus x squared plus 27x, 27, I put it in there, yep, x, then minus 9. There we go. Okay, that's kind of weird looking. Did I do that right? Yeah. All right, let's go. All right, what's going on here? It's got a curve somewhere, probably. Oh, I know what this is doing because it's an x cubed. Yeah, this is kind of hard to see here. Probably, yeah. What it's doing here, I'll show you on this. Let's go back to this. Click off of that. There we go. What it's doing is this. It's really, really close to here, but it's kind of doing that. I kind of made mine a lot wider than what it looks on the graph, but that's basically what it's doing, okay? And where does it hit? It hits just at one place right there, okay? Anyway, sorry, got off course. Let's keep going. Let's make sure I can see, yep, everything's good. All right, let's do another one. You ready? So that wasn't too hard. Example 2. It says, all these say solve. I'm not going to write that down every single time. Equals 5x minus 2. Okay, well, first of all, what does this not look like compared to the first one? It's not equal to what? So let's make it equal to 0. So what's that going to look like? X cubed, what do we do here? Minus 5x plus 2 equals 0. We don't even have an x squared in there. So we can't just do like a normal factoring kind of thing. So we have to do something that we did on the quiz, all right? Do you remember using the remainder theorem, factor theorem, and all that stuff? All right, that's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to try some numbers. So which numbers are we going to try? Well, we got a 2 and we got a 1. So what goes into that? Just plus or minus 1 and plus or minus 2. Agreed? Try 1. Try negative 1. Neither one of those work. I'm just going to fast forward a little bit just so we don't have to try every single one. You know how to do that, right? And then so f of 2 does work. We will do that one just to show you. Say, put a 2 in there. 2 cubed is 8. Minus 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 2. Does that equal 0? Yep, that's negative 2 plus 2. That does equal 0, so that does work. So what does that mean? That means that x minus 2 is a factor of this thing right here. Now, how do I find out what's left over after I factor this out of this? I divide, right? So I do synthetic division is the easiest way to do it. So I'm dividing by a positive 2. Remember, this is x minus 2. Some of you guys are getting this mixed up a little bit, okay? This is x minus whatever this number is right there. So it's x minus 2. That's a 2. That's not a negative 2. All right, and a lot of people, not a lot, but several people got confused on that. So now we put our coefficients. Again, we're using this because we're dividing this by x minus 2. So what are my coefficients? 1, put a 0, right, because you need an x squared in there, don't you? So you need the 0 there, and then you can go negative 5 and 2. Let's find out what we got. So 2 times 1 is 2. You add them up, that's 2. Multiply them, that's 4. Add them up, it's negative 1. Multiply them, it's negative 2. Add them up, it's 0. So 0 is my remainder. So that's what it should be. So what are these things? If this was x cubed, then this is going to be what? X squared plus 2x minus 1. So it's this times this. Well, I think we can factor this a little bit more now, can't we? It's just a quadratic, so see if we can do it like this. Can we? No, we can't. We cannot factor that. What am I thinking? Kind of looked like we could, but then I'm thinking about it. You got these two numbers multiplied to be negative 1. Is there any way to get a positive 2 out of that? Out of a 1 and a negative 1? No, there's no way. All right, so I got to do something else. Now, remember what we're doing with this. We're not just factoring. Like, if this was a problem on the quiz, we would have been done. That would be it. But what does this say? It equals what? 0. All this equals 0. So what we're going to do is set it equal to 0. So we're going to set x minus 2 equal to 0, and then we're going to set this equal to 0. You got me? All right. So the first one's super easy. Added 2, x is 2. So that's one answer. I'll circle it. How in the world do we find x here if it won't factor? No, I can't divide everything by x because I can't divide that by x.
Just
Quadratic formula. That's right. Use the quadratic formula, okay, when it's set equal to 0. So let's do that. So it's negative b, so it's negative 2 plus or minus, what? B squared, or square root of, sorry. Square root of b squared, which is 4, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 1, over 2a, which is just 2. 2 times 1. All right, let's simplify this. Negative 2 plus or minus square root. What's that? That's a plus. 4 plus 4, is that right? Which is 8 over 2. Some of you guys forgot to do this. Okay, what do you need to always do to this stuff? Simplify it, okay? I said that from the time we got an answer like that. I said you always have to simplify. All right, so this is going to be negative 2 plus or minus, plus or minus. What's this? Can you do that in your head? Square root of 8? It's 4 times 2, and then the square root of 4 is 2 times the square root of 2. So you should know that. This should almost be memorized, the square root of 8, okay? And this is over, what's that? And this is over 2, okay? We're almost done. X equals, what happens here? That's negative 1 plus or minus. That cancels, right, with that, and then I got square root of 2, and that is my answer. Should have 3 answers. Do you have 3 answers? Yeah, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And that's your answer right there. We good? Now, this is not a imaginary number, but it is an irrational number. But you could put it into a calculator, get a decimal. You could plot it on the x-axis, right? Like this right here. Can you just look at that and plot that on the x-axis? No. But I would use a calculator, go negative 1 plus square root of 2, right? Whatever that is. And then you could put it on the x-axis. Then go negative 1 minus square root of 2, put that on the x-axis. Put 2 on the x-axis, and my graph is going to hit those points, okay? So there you go. All right, we good with that? Let me see how much more I have to do. Example 3 is pretty lengthy. It's basically what we just did. Well, again, if I just streamline it and I don't try all the different ones that don't work and I just tell you the one that works, we could do it a lot quicker. Yeah, let's do it. 14 after? Got 9 minutes. I'm going to have to do it one way or the other. Will it?
Yeah, you can. We'll get
I might be stressing the next 2 days thinking about doing this. I won't. Don't worry.
You'll have more prepare.
Yeah, you can overall explain it to us better.
It's the same problem. Here, let's write it down. Let's do it.
We're gonna have to stay here.
That's right. I'm gonna keep you for an hour just to do this problem.
The gas laws.
All right, here we go. So it says to solve. You ready? That's okay. I'm going to do it anyway. It's a weird 3. 3 plus 15x squared plus 4x minus 4. All right. So what are our possible roots here? Do you remember what we do? P over Q. This time we have the Q right here. All right. So I've got, remember it's P over Q. So what is it? Let's do the P's first. It's plus or minus what? Plus or minus 1, 2, and 4 over. Same thing here, isn't it? So it's plus or minus 1, 2, and 4. All right. Well, let's write what that is. So I got 1 over 1, which is 1. Then 1 over 2, which is a half. When I put this plus or minus, that includes all the other numbers. Okay, I just don't write it every single time. And then 1 over what? 4. Okay? Then what else we got? We got 2, right? 2 over 1, which is 2. 2 over 2, which is 1. We already got that. 2 over 4, which is a half. We already got that. Okay?
Just a reminder.
Then I got 4.
Students, boys who want to
4 over 1. 4 over 2 is 2. We already got it. 4 over 4 is 1. We already got that. So those are all my possible values. Everybody see that? All right. So what are we going to do? We're going to start plugging them in, right? So try f of 1. See if it works. All right. I'll tell you right now, it doesn't. Okay. So it doesn't work. I'll just put, just say no. Okay. It doesn't work. I'll try f of negative 1. And that doesn't work either. All right. You can do the math yourself if you wanted to. And then try f of, I would go, well, you could go a half, go a fourth, but I'd probably go to the next whole number, right? Or the next integer number. So I'm going to go f of 2. And I've already done the work. And it does work. So that does equal 0. So that works. All right. I just saved you a bunch of work there. But on a quiz or a test, you're going to have to do that work. And you know what I mean by doing that work, right? You put a 1 in, then you put a negative 1 in, then you put a 2 in for x, all right? And when you put a 2 in, this whole thing will come out to a 0, all right? So now what can we do? First of all, what's our factor then? X what? X minus 2, just like on the other one, okay? On the other one was x minus 2. So what do? Do our division. Yeah? Put our, we don't have to put in any zeros this time, do we? So that's a 4, that's negative 16, that's 15, that's 4, and that's a negative 4. Now this is a little bit longer because it's x to the 4th and not x cubed, all right? So we'll probably have to do this one more time before we get to the quadratic, all right? So you can see what's happening. So you bring this down, that's a 4, multiply, that's an 8, that's a negative 8, negative 16, negative 1, negative 2, 2, 4, 0. Everybody know how to get those numbers pretty quick now? Yep. So there's your remainder of 0. This started off x to the 4th, so what is this one? This is 4 what? X cubed minus 8x squared minus 1x plus 2. This is all multiplied by x minus 2. So now, I'm not going to go through it just because of time, but this might be something that you might want to try to do. So we do the same thing. What are my possible factors? Well, this time I've got, let me see where I did this. Yep. So I got P over Q, right? So what is it? It's 2 over, well, it's 2 is the P, right? And then the 4 is the Q. So plus or minus, what? 1 and 2? And then the Q is 4, so it's plus or minus 1, 2, and 4. So 1 over 1 is 1, 1 over 2 is a half, 1 over 4 is a fourth, 2 over 1 is 2, 2 over 2 is 1, we already got it, 2 over 4 is a half, we already got it. So those, plus or minus, those are my possible factors. So now you're going to take these and you're going to plug them in to this thing right here, all right, and see which one works, okay? So now what are we going to do? We're going to go f of, and let's see, I've done it. Where did I put it? Do I even need to try 1 and negative 1 now? No, because it didn't work before, it's not going to work now. If it wasn't a factor in the first place, it's not going to be a factor now. So I don't even have to try 1 and negative 2. Oh, you know what we could do at this point? Yeah, because now 2 was a factor, but 2 could be a factor again. All right, you understand that? Just because it was a factor once doesn't mean you can't have like a double factor. So you should try 2 again. Once you try 2, that actually does work. All right, and then you could go through the same routine. Time's running out. Or, and when I was doing this, I actually did it in another color. I did it in blue because I didn't see this. Look at this thing right here. This looks like something that you could group together and just factor. Okay, if you didn't want to do all the other stuff, All right, does it look like you could group this? Yeah, so 4x cubed minus 8x squared minus x plus 2. So you could, if you wanted to, if you think this is easier, just factor it like this. What's in common with both of these? 4x squared. What's left over? Just an x, correct? Yep, x minus what? 2? Yep. And check this out. If I factor out what? A negative 1, what do I have? I got x minus 2. And then you take the x minus 2, you factor it, and you get 4x squared minus 1. Don't forget, there's another x minus 2, isn't there? From this thing, right? And we can square this. This is a, watch, we're almost done. This is x minus 2. That's another x minus 2. What's this going to be? 2x plus 1. This is a difference of 2 squares this time. 2x minus 1. And then, remember, this is all equal to 0. And we could probably get the answer in our head now. What's the answer? If I said x minus 2 equal to 0, what's x? It's 2. No, x minus 2. If x minus 2 is equal to 0, what's x? Added 2? All right. What's it here? It's another 2. Do I have to repeat it? No, I don't have to repeat it. Okay. What's this? Minus 1 divided by 2, negative 1 over 2. What do I do here? Add a 1, divide by 2. What is it? 1 over 2. Those are my, you could put plus or minus if you wanted to. All right. And those are your answers for this thing right here. Those are your 3. Well, there's 4 answers, right? Because you had 2 2s. They call that a multiplicity, all right? So technically, yeah, there are 4 answers, but a couple of them doubled up, and there you go. If you want to get started on this homework, look at it. It's in the, it's in the thing, but I don't think I officially assign it until tomorrow, I believe. Is that what I said? Yeah, it's 13 to 31 odds. It's 13 to 31 odds. So if you want to get started on it, might be a good idea. So on Friday, I guess, right? Is that when you're coming back?
Yeah.
All right. So on Friday, I will assign all of these right here. All right. If you want to get a head start on it, feel free.